You sit in silence and observe your own mind. What do you notice? Thoughts arise, desires emerge, conflicts bloom, and yet you believe you are choosing. You believe you are deciding. You believe you are in control. But what if control is the greatest illusion the ego maintains? What if every choice you believe is yours is actually a move in a game you did not even know you were playing? In this video, we are going to uncover something most people never see. The games your own ego plays with you. Games so subtle, so sophisticated, that you have been playing them your entire life without knowing it. If you are ready to see the invisible architecture of your own patterns and limitations, then stay with me. And if this resonates with you, please subscribe to the path of Sufism so you do not miss the teachings that reveal what has been hidden. Now, let's begin. According to Sufi understanding, the ego, or the Nafs, is not merely your personality. It is a living force within you, a force with its own intelligence, its own games, its own playbook, and most crucially, its own agenda. And this agenda is almost never aligned with your truth. When you look at your life, at the patterns that repeat, at the choices that betray you, at the relationships that somehow always end the same way, you assume the problem is external. The world is unkind. People are unreliable. Circumstances are against you. But what if the architecture of your suffering is internal? What if the game being played is not happening in the world, but in the depths of your own being? According to Sufi wisdom, the Nafs, the ego, operates through a language the conscious mind does not speak. It does not command you directly. It whispers, it suggests, it frames, it reinterprets realities so subtly that you mistake its voice for your own conscience. This is where the games begin. The Nafs is a master of reframing. It takes your most noble impulses and hides its own agenda within them. You give charity, but the Nafs whispers, make sure they see your generosity. You listen to someone's pain, but the Nafs adds, this will make me look compassionate. You help without being asked, but underneath, they will owe me now. This is not conscious duplicity. This is far more insidious. Because the Nafs does not corrupt intention outright. It layers itself. It hides its fingerprints beneath your genuine desire to be good. So you perform an act of kindness, and three truths exist simultaneously. You genuinely wanted to help. The Nafs wanted to be seen, and you will never know which one was the real driver. This is why the Sufi masters say, intention is the most dangerous battleground, because the Nafs has learned to speak the language of virtue. It has become fluent in goodness, and unless you develop an almost to a supernatural sensitivity to the difference between authentic compassion and compassion for an audience, you will spend your entire life deceiving yourself about your own motivations. The tragedy is not that the Nafs wins. The tragedy is that you do not even know you are playing. Every decision you make is preceded by an internal frequency, a vibration, an energetic state that you were born into or conditioned into. The Nafs lives in this frequency. When you choose a partner, the Nafs has already chosen based on what it believes will validate it. When you select a career, the Nafs has filtered the options through its own fears and desires. When you make a moral decision, the Nafs has already shaped the field of possibilities. You believe you are free, but freedom requires that you can see all options without distortion. The Nafs distorts systematically, relentlessly. with such sophistication that it appears to be reason itself. A woman keeps choosing unavailable men. She believes she is simply unlucky in love. The Nafs knows better. Unavailable men cannot truly see her, which means the Nafs never has to expose itself to real intimacy. The game is perfect. Pursue connection while remaining defended. Seek love while remaining safe from being truly known. A man pursues money with ferocity, believing it is ambition. The Nafs knows differently. Money is proof that he is not the failure his father said he was. The Nafs uses ambition as a weapon against an old wound. These are not random choices. These are symphonies composed by the Nafs, movements conducted with precision. Each act of your life a note in a grand composition designed to protect, defend, and validate something within you that was injured long ago. Perhaps the Nafs's greatest masterpiece is what it does within relationship. Here, it has two egos to work with, two defensive systems, two wounded places seeking validation. You meet someone and fall in love. But the Nafs was falling in love first, not with the person, but with what the person represents. Completion, validation, proof that you are worthy. So you love them, yes, but you also need them, and the moment you need, the Nafs takes over. It becomes subtle. It demands without asking. It controls without commanding. It loves while simultaneously imprisoning. This is why relationships become prisons even when they begin as sanctuaries, because two people loving each other is not the same as two Nafs systems negotiating power. And here is the deepest game. You believe conflict in relationship means something is wrong. The Nafs knows it differently. Conflict is opportunity. When you fight, the Nafs gets to be right, justified, innocent. When you reconcile, the Nafs gets to be noble, forgiving, evolved. The Nafs does not want the relationship to end. The Nafs wants the relationship to continue exactly as it is. A stage for its performances, a mirror for its self-image, a justification for its existence. Perhaps most insidiously, the Nafs hijacks your achievements. You accomplish something, you feel pride. But is it pride in growth, or is it pride in superiority? Does the achievement serve your soul, or does it serve your image? The Nafs love success because success is proof. Proof that the world validates it. Proof that the old voices, the ones that said you would never amount to anything, were wrong. But the Nafs cannot rest because proof is never permanent. You must continually reprove. You must achieve more. You must rise higher. And so you become addicted to external validation, addicted to the next achievement, addicted to the image that success creates. And the cruelest irony, the more you succeed, the further you move from yourself, because the Nafs stands between you and your authentic truth, wearing your accomplishments like armor, speaking through your voice, living your life while you watch from behind the glass. But there is a way out of these games, not by fighting the Nafs. Fighting strengthens it, validates it, gives it something to resist against. The way out is through recognition. You begin to notice the patterns. You observe your own mind as if you were watching someone else. You notice when you are performing. You catch the moment when generosity becomes transaction. You feel the shift when love becomes need. This observation is not judgment. Judgment is another game the Nafs plays. Observation is different. It is the act of seeing without the need to fix, control, or change. Simply seeing. And in seeing, something begins to shift. Because the Nafs cannot remain hidden once it is seen. Exposure is its death. not the dramatic death of ego death in the spiritual sense, though that may come later, but the small death. The continuous small death where the game is seen, the illusion is perceived, and you choose differently. One moment at a time, one choice at a time, one interaction at a time, you step outside the frequency the Nafs established, and as you do, something remarkable happens. The world responds differently, not because external reality changed, but because your frequency changed. The people around you sense it. The opportunities that could never find you suddenly appear. The relationships that were prisons begin to dissolve. The success that was never enough begins to satisfy. Because you are no longer playing the game. You are playing your own game, the game of your authentic self. And that frequency, that true frequency, attracts truth. According to Sufi wisdom, the Nafs must die, but not violently, not through suppression, through understanding, through recognition that the Nafs is not your enemy, but a protective mechanism that has outlived its usefulness. You needed the Nafs when you were wounded. You needed its defenses when you were fragile. You needed its games when you did not know how to be. But you are not that fragile being anymore. And so you do the most profound thing. You thank the Nafs for its service. You acknowledge its protection, and then you release it. This is not rejection. This is graduation. And when the Nafs is released, when it no longer needs to defend, perform, validate, or control, something extraordinary emerges. You emerge, not the image you have maintained, not the identity you have protected, but the actual you. The you that was always there beneath the games, the you that knows itself not through external validation, but through internal recognition, and that you is free in a way that transcends all understanding. If you have recognized yourself in any of these games, if you have seen the subtle manipulation of your own ego, if you have felt your defenses, if you have glimpsed the moment when your intention was not as pure as you believed, then you have already begun to wake up. This waking is not comfortable, but it is necessary. And now, I need two things from you. First, if this teaching has revealed something about yourself, if you have felt the truth in these words, please like this video, because your recognition tells others this matters. This is worth their time. Second, if you want to go deeper, if you want to continue understanding the games of the ego and the freedom beyond them, please subscribe to the path of Sufism, because the next teaching goes even further. The games will continue as long as you remain asleep to them. But the moment you truly see, the game is already over. May you observe your own ego with clarity. May you recognize the games without shame. And may you discover that the freedom you seek is simply the recognition of what was always within you. Thank you for being here.